All right, good morning, everybody. It is top of the hour, time to get started. Glad to see all of you jumping on this Friday morning, Friday team call. It's awesome. Hope everybody's having a great week. I know we've had talking with a couple of you. It's been kind of an up and down week, a little bit on the production side, but hey, that's all right. We have a bad week, but we don't have a bad month. That's what we always say. So. All right, let's hit some leaderboards this morning. I'm going to go ahead and do, of course, last week we had the hierarchy call with Scott, and so we did not get a chance to go over our leaderboard. So I definitely want to call out some numbers because we had some folks that went out last week and had a fantastic week. So let's hit last week's riders real quick. Myself, I had one application for 285 APV. We had Spencer Cushion, one application, $620 direct to myself. Cheryl Morris. Cheryl is actually a new rider. Cheryl had one application for $1,107 direct to myself. Terry Myers had three applications, $1,569 direct to Stella Dinwiddie. Stacy Love had two applications, $1,860 direct to Donna Bates. Miss Donna Bates herself, leading from the front, eight applications, $5,567 direct to Spencer. She was in the number 2 spot, and the number 1 was Miss Stella Dinwiddie, leading from the front, 11 applications, guys, $10,013 APV. What an awesome week. Congratulations, Stella. That was last week. Let's go ahead and hit the leaderboards for this week. We had Cynthia Hall, one application, $158 direct to Donna Bates. Terry Myers, three applications, $391 direct to Stella Dinwiddie. Donna Bates, one application, $399 direct to Spencer Cushion. Sydney Lee, welcome back, Sydney. One application, $761 direct to Stella Dinwiddie. And Sydney's got some things in the pipeline Stella was telling me about and some exciting things. So awesome to see you back on the boards, Sydney. Welcome back. We had, let's see, I forgot to make a little edit there. Spencer Cushion, two applications, $2,570 direct to myself. Stella Dinwiddie, two applications, $2,610 direct myself. Elizabeth Delaney. Elizabeth is one of our newer writers, but went out, wrote 4 applications, guys. 4 applications, tied for app count lead this week, $4,162 direct to Stella Dinwiddie. But the number 1 writer, Miss Stacy Love, 4 applications, $6,764 direct to Donna Bates, leading this week. Congratulations, Stacy. Let's hit the monthly leaderboards. Now, monthly, kind of a quick recap, does include, we do the top 10, and that includes the Vetter Agency, who is obviously having their own meeting. But they're a fast-growing team and part of our hierarchy. But they run their own Friday team meeting. But we go ahead and include them for the monthly numbers so far for the month. And I realize we've still got was the second week of the month, so still got plenty of time here. Mr. Spencer Cushion in 10th place, 3 applications, $3,190. Kimberly Ironwald, 4 applications, $3,899 direct to Jenny Gray. Elizabeth Delaney, 4 applications, $4,162 direct to Stella. Brad Higgins, 2 applications, $5,044 direct to Eric Sullivan. Jenny Gray, 5 applications, $5,486 direct to John Paul Vetter. Donna Bates, 9 applications. Man, great app count, Donna. Looks like so far number 2 on app count for the month. $5,966 direct to Spencer. Layla Davignon, 1 application, $6,165 direct to Jenny Gray. Adam Patterson, 5 applications, $6,838 direct to Joanna Dwayman. Stacy Love in the number 2 spot for the month for the entire hierarchy at 6 applications, $8,625 direct to Donna Bates. And leading from the front, number one so far for the month, Miss Stella Dinwiddie. 13 applications already, guys. That is an awesome start. 13 applications, $12,628. Congratulations, Stella. And she's putting together a great month. Is running hard and fast. Just a quick reminder, guys, I was looking at the calendar this morning. Man, this year, I don't know what it is about the holiday season, but it seems like it is sneaking up faster than it ever has before. Maybe it's just because I'm getting older and every year seems like it's going faster. But this year, so next week, we will have a team meeting, obviously, but the week after we will not because it's Christmas Eve. So just in 2 weeks, we're already at Christmas Eve. So just that announcement about, and of course, obviously we'll be putting out between now and then, the updates through the announcements, but I wanted to put that on your radar because like I said, that snuck up on me. So plan ahead as far as your production goes. Nice thing about Christmas this year is on a weekend. So that shouldn't have too much interruption impact on your business. Allow you to enjoy the weekend and time with the family, but still be able to get numbers in for the week. And guys, that week between Christmas and New Year's, I know a lot of times a lot of folks kind of really scale back and want to take that time off. But man, if you're needing to make numbers, that is a perfect time. There's a lot of people with time off, sitting around, not a lot going on, relaxed, in the mood to talk. I mean, and from a carrier standpoint, carriers are trying to get business pushed out before the end of the year. They're trying to clear the books. So we see it every year, cases that quite frankly should not get put through. So I would leverage that and make sure that you're getting as much applications in the pipeline, and you'll be surprised some of the things that get approved. One other thing, so we had a little contest, last month. Anybody that wrote over $30,000 and had at least 70% issue paid. We got our issue paid numbers a couple of days ago. Congratulations to Miss Stella Dinwiddie. Wrote $34,664 in the month of November. And guys, get this, 34,000 had a 95.8% issue paid rate, almost 96%. So that is awesome just in and of itself. But because of that, Miss Dinwiddie will be the recipient of an Amazon gift card in the amount of $500 coming to you probably sometime later today. We'll send that through the interwebs so you can get that sooner rather than later. Not wait for the good old plastic card. So great job, Stella. Fantastic month. And I'm just as excited about that issue paid rate, man. 95%, guys, writing 34 grand, and the issue paid was 33 and change. So that's not a bad pay month. So we all should strive for that. Great job, Stella. Way to lead from front on that. All right, guys, what an exciting week we have had from a company standpoint, product rollout. I hope each and every one of you jumped on the training yesterday for Quilty RX. That is just the more and more I learn about that program, the more excited and pumped up I am. That is a phenomenal program. Ties in a little bit. Stella gave me a call here a couple of days ago, and we were talking about the Friday team call and kind of the topics that we wanted to hit. And she had some great thoughts around client follow-up, which is a challenge. We're running hard to get new business in the pipeline, and quite frankly, sometimes we look at client follow-up as not exactly a profitable endeavor, and it's a good faith, and it's not always going to write you additional business. It can. And so because of that, obviously it's good to do, but also the fact that, we take care of our clients and help them out. But we were delivered a gift this week, guys, from a client follow-up standpoint, because you have an excuse now to call each and every one of your clients, and a good excuse other than obviously taking care of them, which is the ultimate. But this one is something that's highly productive. for you and for your clients, because putting this in front of them, guys, and again, just quick recap. I know you were all on the training. We have not, you get on that recording, guys, get caught up, because you're going to want to be on top of this. But Quilty RX card. And I don't know if you, I'm sure several of you probably saw the post I threw up last night. I already used mine, and $62 prescription, paid $27 for it. And that was without shopping around. The prescription had already been called in. And so I had not had time. I think if I understood the app right, I probably could have got it for even way less than that, but it was already in. So I wasn't going to go in and do it. But that's, guys, that was a 57%. I think I calculated 57% discount. So huge savings. But this is a program that Symmetry is rolling out, and what they're doing with it. And again, I don't want to rehash the training completely from yesterday, but some of the things I want to highlight, because it was pretty amazing what they did. In that, there's a lot of drug programs out there, but this drug program was really set up to be a win-win-win all the way around. Win for the client, win for the for us, the agents. And surprisingly, a win for the pharmacies and the companies that are actually producing the drugs. I thought it was an awesome decision on Todd's part to include Wade, who was a former pharmacist, who's now a Symmetry agent, to talk about the back end. And I was already excited about this program for what it does for us and our clients. But to talk about the back end on the pharmacy side, kind of the business side of it, and some of what those folks go through in dealing with these cards. To be honest with you, I didn't know if discount cards in general were a good thing or a bad thing. I got the sense that typically it's a good thing. Pharmacists don't mind using it, but there are some challenges to them. One of those being that some of those discount cards actually cost the pharmacy a little bit of money. They pay a back end fee. As I understand it, the Quilty RX card will not do that. So that's nice. I mean, that's nice that we, especially for those of you who have connections to a pharmacy, some family member or friend, or just place that you've gone for years and years, and you've developed a relationship. I mean, this is a perfect opportunity to walk in and say, hey, I know you're already processing a lot of prescriptions through RX cards. How about one that's not going to ding you, from a cost standpoint? So I was excited to hear that. But guys, kind of getting off my my agenda here a little bit, but I did want to touch on that because, like I said, I think this RX program is just a win-win-win all the way around. But we now have an excuse to call each and every client, and beyond that, we have an excuse to really call anybody that we've met with ever, because this particular program. I tell people, I've been telling people all week, it's like, well, if you can't sell free, then we've got bigger problems in this business, because that's what this program, I mean, it's a free program. Now I get it. There are some people that automatically suspicious, you try to give them, a gold bar for, 50 cents, and they're going to say, what's the catch? I get that. There are people that are going to be naturally suspicious, but if we've developed a relationship with them and we really worked hard to try to help them, any of those people, guys, I'd be calling those up. Hey, I know we weren't able to help you, but I remember our conversation. You were taking some medications, especially in a case where we weren't able to get them approved, or the plan that we were offering was really not that beneficial to them, because we couldn't get a lot of coverage, and the price was astronomical because of their medications. Guys, what kind of call is that when you say, hey, I really felt bad that we couldn't help you, but I can help you this time, and I'm not going to ask you for any money. In fact, I'm going to probably be giving you money back through the form of savings on this drug card. So Stella, if you don't mind, I'm going to put you on the spot here a little bit, because you had some great thoughts around this as far as like follow up in that conversation. You're right. I mean, when you talked to me the other day, I mean, look, it doesn't matter that it's our industry, just sales in general. It's very much about, what going after the fresh kill, air quotes, because that's how our business runs. I mean, that's where we make the bulk of our revenue. So it's hard to circle back in on clients, even though we know it's a good thing to do and we want to do it. We want to help them out, but it takes time, and time is money. Stella, if you don't mind kind of piping in some of the things that you were sharing with me the other day on our phone call, and we'd love to get your feedback on what you think of the RX program.
Absolutely. I'd love to, because it really was an eye-opener for me that I'm definitely not using my full capability of follow-up. My follow-up is very lame right now, and I am going to improve it. And this gives me one more reason to improve it, to follow up with my clients. The main motivation came from this recent video, which I shared with my team, so they're aware of it, with that Ryan Federico and Andrew Jimenez, where you can generate more leads for free from your current leads. Well, this is just one more totally amazing reason to come to your clients, to come back to them. And some of the things that we are recapping is that, how many times, have you had a week that maybe, because you're right, I'm always chasing after that next lead, but the people that I have, we want to have that issue paid rate higher. So we want them to stay on the books, and we want to increase that relationship so that we can create more business from that same family. Sydney is a great example of that, because she writes a lot of applications off of like 1 or 2 leads that she's been having. And we can do that a lot more. And the beauty of it is when we follow up, I could call my, client, my family, maybe I call my last 10 families, and I say, so the process would go like this, first of all, when I'm done writing business with them today, I've been saying, hey, when you get your policies in the mail, give me a call. I want to go through it with you. That's not enough. What we need to be doing is saying, hey, when you get your policy in the mail, let's go ahead and make an appointment. Let's put it on the calendar now, so we can circle back and we can go through it, and I can answer your questions. And, now since there's a lot of people haven't followed up with in that way. So now I can call them and say, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, this is Stella. And I just wanted to follow up. I wanted to take a few minutes out to, go through your policy, just review it, just make sure it's, that, you're fully understanding of it. And hey, guess what? We have a new program that we can save you. We could potentially, hundreds of dollars over the course of a year, a lot of money through prescriptions. And, I know that when we went through your initial underwriting, you had a number of prescriptions. So let's go ahead and, schedule a time, and let me just tell you a little bit about that. And, let's go through your policy, or I could do it right there on the spot. But when I go through that, what you do is you do a number of things. Number one, especially if you're not having a good week, it's going to build your confidence, because these are the people who you already helped, who love you. They trust you. They've already trusted you. They gave you your bank account, their bank account and routing number, all their personal information. They put their life in your hands to protect their loved one with a plan. So they already love you. So it's a confident booster, because they're going to be so happy to hear from you. And number two, because you have built that trust already, now you are going to be able to leverage it in a way that you can help them, with maybe some critical illness or, something else. But the initial phone call is, hey, I can save you some money, with prescriptions, let's go ahead and, let's make an appointment to talk about that. So you're going back to them with the prescription savings, which is, the whole focus of this. It just opens the door for so many opportunities to go back you know, boost your own confidence, because let's face it, in this industry, we get rejected a lot. So, you know, it's nice to be able to go back to those people, you know, who loved us in the first place. And then secondly, you can write more business. You can keep them on the books. If they're ever thinking about it, how many times have you seen a chargeback come through, you know, maybe 6 months or 2 months down the road? Well, what if you had called that and you could have saved it just by talking with them? So this Quility RX is so huge for us to be able to leverage with that follow-up. And those are, you know, some of the biggest key points that I got out of it. There's so much more, but there's that video, if you haven't seen it, I can go ahead and I'll actually post it on Crew, because I know there's a lot of people that are not here that they work and couldn't make it here, but it's amazing. And it's just really helps us with that follow-up. And now more than ever, we can save them money. So that was just so huge. I love it. I'm so excited about this, and I can't wait. I'm gonna make some cards as soon as I can sign on. I haven't been able to sign on yet. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thanks for sharing that, Stella. If you're still having trouble signing on, one of the things that I discovered yesterday, because it's coming from the top down. So I talked to Sky yesterday. He had approved his, but it took a little bit of time for the system to update. So it's not instantaneous. I've done mine. So if you're not getting yours, I did mine yesterday afternoon. Check today. If you're still not getting, you can certainly open a ticket with Quility and just let them know, hey, I know my upline has, you know, now if you're obviously down line from Stella or somebody else, you know, make sure that you're checking to make sure that they've got theirs. Anyway, we'll get this sorted out.
Hey, Chris,
with
I have just a quick question on that. So if like Scott did it, you did it, and then Stella does hers, after she's done, then the form that we have to sign, will there be like a entry or submit button or something? Because it's like right now when we go in, we can check all the boxes, but there's nothing to actually submit it. So when Stella does hers, then is that going to appear on our end?
It should, and the fact that there's not, because that's a little bit unique. I was getting an error message yesterday because I was going through checking the boxes and hitting submit. There was a submit button, and then it was telling me my direct was not signed up yet. Okay, and so. But if you don't have the button to even submit, yeah, I would go ahead and open a ticket with Quility, because that's a different problem, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, I submitted a ticket with Quility just now because it's still not working for me. I don't have the submit button, so I don't know. And I did clear all my cookies.
One thing that I ran into one time was I had to shrink my page because the submit button I had enlarged it, the submit button wasn't visible. So if I made the page smaller, the submit button showed up.
I did that. Yesterday I did it to like 40% and it's still not. But thank you. It's a good point, Donna.
And I have another question if I can ask it.
Sure.
I went to make cards this morning with my number on them because I want to do that. What's a recommendation for what to put on the back side? Because I don't want to waste the back. If I'm going to get cards printed, what would your suggestion be? Use it as a recruiting tool, use it as put your website on there. Do you have a recommendation?
I mean, my thoughts would probably just be your name, contact information, and your website. Now, make sure that you're using the Quility approved RX information, and that's all, you know. So for those of you who haven't, you know, it kind of sucks that you haven't been able to get in yet. I get that, so it's a little frustrating, but hopefully they get that straightened out. But once you get in and that's approved, you will have access to all the approved marketing materials. So if you're wondering where do I find that, it's actually in after you get past that wall of checking off the, what am I trying to say? The compliance stuff. So I think they want everybody to go through and acknowledge the compliance before they give you the tools to run with. Because again, one of the things they did make a point, and guys, pay attention to this very closely, because this will get you out of business very quickly, is follow the compliance guidelines. Make sure you're doing that. It's not difficult. I mean, I think it's all pretty much common sense, but probably the things that we want to steer clear of that you might accidentally swerve into is it's not an insurance. So don't say anything about insurance in regards to this. It's an RX program, and aside from that, I just wouldn't be making any promises. Hey, we could save you up to, I think they're saying 80%, if I remember right, or up to $95 per prescription. Just stay within the bounds. Use that language. Anything you post on social media, send in an email, any type of communication that's written, make sure you only use that material. Okay, again, because that's all approved. That's all compliance approved material. So don't deviate it. And in fact, even the scripting is there of what to say and how to say it. So I would be, sticking to that. And as long as you do that, to me, it's not, I looked it over. I didn't see anything that, was like, oh, there's a trap waiting to happen. I mean, it's all pretty straightforward. Don't offer money for people to buy it, or I'll give you a rebate, or, pay pharmacies to put your cards out, any of that stuff like that. I don't think that's necessary. Honestly, I think there's enough value in this card that we're not going to have trouble, getting people to allow us to set it out. Especially, especially like a privately owned pharmacy or something like that, especially if you have a relationship with them or you buy a lot of products, and you buy your prescription and they see what your discount is and say, hey, oh, by the way, I'm an agent and I have access to this program. Do you mind if I leave some of these cards out?
Can I add to that, Chris, on your, sorry, on here, as I'm going through and I still can't find that submit button, but it does say all the don'ts, and it does say don't use any marketing materials that have not been pre-approved. That means social media posts, websites, physical cards, emails, faxes, flyers, text messages. So, staying with just what they have on Quility. Like I saw your note about Vistaprint. Vistaprint's really awesome, and I love that for so much. But if you do it on Vistaprint, you actually have to, unless it's exactly what it says on the.
As long as you use their copy, you can use whoever you want as far as the print fulfillment goes. But just make sure that you are using that. And the nice thing about it, guys, I was looking through, they've got it in PNG. So in picture format, they've got it in PDF. I mean, there's several different formats there that you should be able to find something that will work with most printers, whether you're doing it online or you're doing it with a local print shop. So, but guys, I mean, I would print a bunch of these things up and just carry it around in your pocket and just hand it out like candy. I mean, it's, Sydney asked a great question, because I thought about this too. It's like, well, what if somebody said, well, this is too good to be true? Well, I would say, and here's how I would handle that. Okay, well, I understand, but here's what I'm not going to ask you for. I'm not going to ask you for your social security number. I'm not going to ask for your bank account. I'm not going to ask for anything financially related. In fact, I'm not even going to ask you for your address. All I need is an email and a phone number and your name. Now, here's the other thing. You could hand them a card and say, look, I don't even need to take that. Take my card. You go on the website and you do it yourself. I could sign it up for you right now, and I can give you quotes. Now, the nice thing about it is with, I already signed my card up. I've got my link and everything. But there's also on that Quility RX page, there's a price quoter. So you can enter the drug in. So you could be standing there chatting with somebody and say, well, do you mind giving me one of your prescriptions? What's the name of one of your prescriptions? I can tell you exactly what it's going to cost you with 4 or 5 pharmacies in the area. And they say, yeah, no, I don't mind. I'm taking lisinopril. Okay, great. Lisinopril. Okay, it looks like I've got for $5 here, $12 here, and $17 here. Are you paying more than that? You are? Okay. Well, seems pretty obvious that, you know, especially if you get somebody who doesn't get assistance from the insurance on prescriptions. The nice thing about this too is even if you do have a discount with your insurance, I mean, if it discounts it even further, that's great. It doesn't interfere with anything that they've got from a insurance standpoint. But, you know, my thoughts are from a marketing standpoint, think if you're calling some bonus leads and you get somebody on the phone, it's like, yeah, we already paid our house off. Great, congratulations. Do you mind if I ask you a question? Do you take any prescriptions? You know, if I could save you up to $95 per prescription, is there any reason you wouldn't want to learn about that? Well, how much does it cost? Great question. Nothing. I mean, guys, to me, this just opens up so many doors for us from just conversation standpoint on any level, whether it's in appointment, going back to a previous appointment, whether they were sold or not. I would be going straight to the ones that I sold before. But an objection, I call somebody up. Yeah, we already got that taken care of. And of course, we're going to, again, I love the fact they said, hey, stick with your sales process. This is not, you know, let's not turn every appointment into, oh, hey, by the way, I've got an RX card. You know, stick with it, you know, try to overcome the objection. If I could save you money on your existing mortgage protection, you know, $300 to $400 a year, you know, can I get you a quote on that? No. Okay, fine. Before I let you go, let me ask you, do you take prescriptions? If I could save you, you know, up to 80% on your prescriptions, would you like to hear about that? I mean, that's your parting shot. You know, that's always your parting shot. So I put on the title for the call, the 6 R's, the 6 R is now RX. You know, so when we're doing an appointment, you know, we're going to go through the 5 R's, you know, the Rugrats, the referrals, you know, retirement, all that stuff like that. But now RX, whether you close it or not. And think about, and I think it was Todd that said this yesterday, made a great point, and this is statistically correct. Most of your objections, I want to think about it. You know, or yeah, I'm not sure. We need to look at the budget, whatever. A lot of times that comes back to budget. You know, a lot of times that comes back to they're looking at the numbers like, oh gosh, that's, you know, I'm just not sure we can afford that. They're too embarrassed to say, or they're too private to say that. Okay, well, we go ahead and go through our 5 R's. All right, no problem. You know, we'll follow up with you. You know, let me ask you, you know, go through your referrals. I mean, again, follow the process. Don't get this out of order. You know, referrals, Rugrats, retirements, all the things that we would normally do. Oh, by the way, I notice you take XYZ medication, this medication, this medication. And here's the thing about it. Again, you know, I would have this loaded up on your phone right to the price quoter page. So when they're giving you the medications, as you're doing that wind down, you're going through the R's, I would be entering one of those medications in. You're taking metformin. Were you aware that I could get that prescription for $5 for you? Are you paying more than that? You know, oh gosh, I paid $35 a month for that. Okay, well, if I could, you know, I can get you for $5. All we need is your phone number, your email, and we'll get that set up for you. But what if we got a situation where we had, you know, we felt like we were really close. It's like, man, I know these people want it, and I can tell there's something holding them back. It's probably budget. Don't sweat it. Go through your R's, set them up on RX, run and take the time. That's the thing I think that I was picking up. Take the time to go through their medications with them and quote every one of them. Because guys, while you're there, instead of trying to circle back and rekindle the fire, while you're there, if you're able to save them 50, 75, 100 more a month, hey, look, we've already got your prescription set up. You can go to, Walgreens on Main Street, and you'll be able to get that from now on for $5 a piece. So let me ask you, now that we've got that set up for you, that freed up $75 a month in your budget. What do you think? Should we take another look at the mortgage protection? Is that worth taking another look at? It's worth the question, isn't it? I mean,
That's
a
great
lot of
stuff,
times.
Chris. And
What's that?
that is awesome stuff what you're covering. I hope you guys are taking notes, because I am. And I just want to tell you that, sorry, how many times when we're calling people and going through, their qualification, and we have to go through their prescriptions. Exactly what you're saying. Apply everything you just said during that time.
May I,
Yeah, and,
can I comment on that too?
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. Go ahead.
I literally yesterday day before yesterday, I had a conversation with a current client, and they've got some financial things that are going on. And so we're looking at a bunch of options, and they mentioned that they have a plan that they're paying for through a funeral home to cover their casket and their funeral expenses and so forth. Because we took care of their mortgage protection, and, they were thinking about, doing something else. And I told them, I said, how much are you, how much are you paying for that plan? How long do you have to pay for it? And, the end result of that conversation was that they determined that we did, they're in their 60s. So we did let's calculate based on the next 25 years what you're paying. And I said, okay, so if you guys, which we expect you're going to be living, for another 25 years at least, you're going to have put into that funeral home already over $53,000. And they both looked at each other and went, and I said, what if you applied that money into another whole life policy that's going to give you cash value growth on top of that? And that way you're going to get a lot more longevity. Plus you can have living benefits, and all these other, things that are going to come with a permanent policy. They're canceling that funeral home policy. And we're looking right now and figuring out which plan is going to be the best one for them to apply that monthly budget, into a new policy for them.
That's a great story. And, that really reminds me and reemphasizes, Sydney, that, and we all fall for this trap. No doesn't mean no. No means we haven't figured out how to make it work.
Right.
And, so that, we take, obviously, like you're saying, digging into what they're spending their money on. But again, tying RX into that with Sydney, what if you're doing a debt-free life and you're going through and you're trying to find money in the budget? Can I ask you a question? How much do you spend a month on prescriptions? Oh yeah, we're $300 a month. Okay. Well, what if we knock that down to $100 a month? We just freed up $200 a month to get them out of debt.
Yep. That's one of the plans that we're talking about is we're looking at what's going to be the better alternative, an annuity or a debt-free life. So I'm working with them on that right now. But that when I talked to them again today, that's what I wanted to talk to them about, was about the RX plan. So I'm just biting at the chomp because I know it's going to help them because they are on a very, very tight budget. Yeah.
And the thing about this, guys, it's you saw the numbers. I mean, this is why I think Symmetry is kind of going overboard and saying, hey, don't trash your presentation to go run out and try to sign up a bunch of RX. That's not the point of this. This is a value add. But if it is positioned right, if you work it right, it's a huge value add, because what it will do is it will leverage into other opportunities through freeing up money for them to be able to spend places. Striking up a conversation. Think of you're standing in line waiting for your prescription, and you strike up a conversation with the person that's in line behind you or whatever, and they're like, oh gosh, I've been dreading coming here because I know it's going to be $200. Oh wow, do you mind if I can, if I could save you some money on that? Would you, can we take a look at that for you? You know, I mean, just to me, this is just such an outside the box program that allows us in a very non-obtrusive way to generate extra leads. You know, I mean, this is a conversation that you easily strike up with anybody standing anywhere. You know, but especially in those, you know, in those environments where, you know, we're already there, we're already asking a lot of questions. And yeah, think about this, that for those of you who have pets, you know, because this thing is just kind of like, this keeps blowing my mind that this goes for pet medications. Well, if you take your pet into the vet to get them checked up or get them, if you take a stack of cards in, you know, now I know the RX programs are probably targeting pharmacies and doctor's office, all stuff like that. But I'm curious how many of them are going after the vet offices. And, you know, who do you know that has insurance for their pets that's going to pay for the medications? I mean, maybe it exists. I don't even know if it does or not. But the reality is probably most people are not going to spend money on insurance for the pets. They're going to pay out of pocket. So if they have to go to the vet says you need XYZ medications, they're paying for it. This is huge. I mean, you know, so that's why I'm saying, you know, get in the habit, carry a stack of these things with you. You know, to Donna's point, and I don't think there's going to be an issue with compliance on this, but I probably would run it by marketing first. But yeah, I would do RX on one side and your business card on the other. Turn that into your business card and, you know, hand that puppy out everywhere, you know, because like you said, it's gosh, signing up for it was crazy simple. You know, I can't wait for everybody to get their numbers, because you guys are going to be blown away. And once you start playing with this, it's going to be a lot of fun. Guys, any questions, thoughts, any other ideas? I mean, man, I'm open, you know, here's the thing, I kind of want to open the boards here. Anybody that's been thinking about this, marketing ideas, places you can leave cars, conversations you can strike up with clients or with anybody, you know, friends and family. You know, for those who have been a little nervous about talking with friends and family, don't want to come off with the insurance agent, well, why not have this conversation with them? And then, you know, eventually slide into, you know, an insurance conversation.
Chris,
But,
I'm
yeah,
gonna
go ahead, Jim.
I'm going to dovetail on about the dog thing. I mean, I'm a dog lover. I think the dog stores, you know, the pet stores,
Mm-hmm.
you know, you got to strike up a little relationship with the cashier. He knows your dog and the whole thing, and then just turn those over. Hey, can you put these cards there? And yeah, it's good thoughts. Good thoughts.
In fact, I saw, and I haven't had a chance, like I said, I'm still kind of going through and pulling out some of this stuff, but Quility did put together a pet specific marketing. I don't know if it's a marketing piece or marketing email, but I would take that. You know, you can buy those cheap little plastic stands that you can put flyers in, you know, or card stands that you can put a marketing piece that's upright. And that's a great idea, Jim. I mean, I'd be going to pet stores because, again, you know, the RX programs out there, from my observation, are really geared around just, you know, traditional pharmacy. I think, you know, the fact that we've got the ability to go after, you know, pet owners, and look, some people spend an amazing amount of money on their pets and medications.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
There's PetSmart, and PetSmart has their affiliation with Banfield. They're nationwide.
Yeah.
Guess who I'm going to go talk to tonight? I have to go pick up my cat's prescription cat food.
If it's a prescription cat food, I'll be putting that in to see if there's any discounts there.
I'm going to try. I'm going to exactly try, because that stuff is expensive.
Yeah.
Chris, let me double check on that. You mentioned about double checking with marketing about the card. So because I'm like ready to jump on this and go ahead and start working on printing up business cards. I've been needing to do it for a while anyway, but now I'm kind of glad I waited. So is there something on the website somewhere that we can pull off to put on the back of a card that we don't have to go through compliance or approval if we do it that way? Or should we do it anyway? Should we send them, say, hey, I want to put this on the back of my card, send the email to marketing and ask and make sure that they're okay with it? What do you think is the best course of action?
That's a good question. So what I would do, like I said, the RX, there's some card size graphics. So once you have your number, you can put your number on the card and all that stuff like that. But there's also separately, if you go into the Quilty store, there's that little on the HQ Quilty up in the top left corner, there's the little squares. Yep. Click on that drop down menu and go to the store. There's also business card templates in there. I would probably just grab both of those images, make sure they kind of correlate as far as color scheme and all that stuff like that. And just send a quick message to marketing, or maybe the info at Quilty RX, maybe the better one, because it seems like they're more geared towards compliance. And just say, hey, I'm wanting to use this pre-approved, but I'm wanting to put my business card on the backside using the Quilty template. Are we good with that? And again, I think that's just an extra step, just CYA. I mean, it's they're going to respond to you quickly. It will make sure that you've taken that extra step. My thoughts around the Quilty RX program is I would do nothing, even if it seems like pretty mundane and pretty safe. I would do nothing without first running it by them, just to, because again, if you're making, that's not really an alteration, because you're using all Quilty approved material, but you're putting two things together that were approved separately. So I would go ahead and go through that step and just say, hey, any problem with doing this? I don't see that. If it is, they'll tell you, and then you can adjust from there.
Okay. Thank you.
But
I did go on the Quilty site, Chris, and the nice thing is, so if they have a number of things that says social media best practices, and at the top of one of them, it does say, to make it easy so we don't all overthink it, is this social media copy is pre-approved. So what they have on there is pre-approved. So if you want to copy that image and put it on your LinkedIn or your Facebook, it's pre-approved. It's just interesting as we're talking about this, is should you or one of your affiliates wish to change the copy in any way, it must be approved by Quilty prior to distribution. So like you're saying, so, just to kind of simplify and then if any of you, I think all of you are already familiar, but if you go on HQ and you can't find it, Terry told me yesterday, you just type in Quilty RX, but make sure that there's no space between Quilty and RX for it to come up.
Yeah, and you should, if it's not pulling up, I would try logging out, logging back in, because eventually, and I noticed this yesterday, at one point during the day, it popped up in my menu on the left side. There's actually now a Quilty RX tab. So if you're not seeing that yet, and some of that also could be just due to the contracting. Again, it's starting from the top, flowing down. So, and we have seen a little bit of a delay getting from one level, even though, like Scott went in and approved his earlier in the day, it didn't allow me to get in until in the afternoon. So I think it's just, it's all part of the just mechanics on the back end. So, but, all right. Any other thoughts, questions, ideas, anything, guys? Be really active on Crew. If you have a story, a conversation, an experience, if something happened with Quilty RX that was really cool, share that. Let us see that. I mean, I'm thinking, for those of us who are recruiting, building teams, you get somebody that comes in on a shoestring budget. Well, go out and take a stack of Quilty RX cards. I would go to a retirement community and start walking around In fact, the training that Gary Keith puts on for final expense, he's actually got a training in there about putting on presentations for retirement homes, retirement communities. Well, partner this up with that. Hey, we're gonna, go talk to the administrator. Do you mind if I do a presentation, and we're going to give everybody a free gift? Their free gift is an RX card. So yeah, I mean, and just carry a stack of them in, hand them out. Here's your free gift. That code number. All you have to do is, go in and give that to your pharmacist. See if they can save you some money.
Chris,
Okay,
that
I
is
have great
awesome.
news. Sorry, I have great news. Okay, so you just mentioned, Chris, that Terry and Stacy. Chris just mentioned that if you look on HQ on the left-hand side, there's Quality RX. For some weird reason, if I click there and I just went through the blue boxes, it let me submit it. But
I just did it. I was just typing. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, if I
works,
did the
so.
search, it won't let me. So thank you, Chris.
Hey,
I
the
see it.
cool
Thank you.
thing, there's this enrollment. It allows you to send a client a card via email. Will that continuously pop up? So I can just tell them I'm sending it to them electronically, and I can just keep going here and send it to them instead of
You're actually
mailing
signing
it?
them up. That pop-up, you're actually signing them up. So now, and that's why they were trying to say, don't just sign people up without their knowledge. They have to know you're signing them up. So in other words, you can't just go through your list. Hey, I got emails. I'm just going to sign everybody up. It has to happen from a conversation. So you have to be talking to that individual. Hey, here's the program. Do you want to be involved? Yes, great. Let me go ahead and sign you up. Name, email address, phone number, send, they get an email.
Oh,
And
is that
so
what
for
they Sorry, go
Oh,
ahead.
sorry. So for strangers, they would sign themselves up if we give them
They
the
can,
card?
yeah. So if on the card, you just make sure you have the qualityrx.com or quality.com/RX. Actually, I think both of them go to the same place. So when they go there, because I went in and logged out everything in my system to make sure I went to that website. It basically it has, it's just kind of a high level, just typical marketing. Here's what Quality RX is. Here's what it does for you. And then it said, if you're interested, sign up here. So they click to learn more for you. So they fill out their information, their name, their phone number, all that fun stuff like that. And then it asks for I forget, there's some terminology. I think member code, if I remember right. Let me pull mine up here because my card, I actually screenshot it. It basically group code. You'll ask for the group code. Well, the group code is your agent number. So when they put that group code in, that's going to tie them back to you. So you could have a stranger that you meet in a restaurant, you guys get to chatting and they complain about prescriptions. You hand them this thing, they go sign up for it. As long as they put that group code in, they're tied back to you. You may not even know their name. But with that group code, every time they pull that up and enter that in with their pharmacist, that's tied back to you.
So I have a question, Chris, just to confirm, because I wasn't clear about what Todd Spivey was saying yesterday. You just mentioned it. So what they mean by spam is sending it to people when they don't know, they haven't talked to you about it. That's the only spam they're talking about. Okay.
Right.
Awesome. And
Right. Well, yes. And it's not like you could go in and buy a mailing list. Like you can go buy a mailing list with people's names, email address, and phone number. Like you can go pay a company and they'll give you that data. You couldn't just go in and just start entering that stuff in and just blasting it out. That's going to get you in trouble. Same thing with your client list. Even though they're a client of yours, don't go signing people up, just, pulling up their information and plowing it through there. They have to know what's going on and they have to opt in, to be a part of that.
hey, you just made me think of an idea. What do you think what's your opinion on like if I got all my clients' emails and did a blast email that just said, hey, checking in with you, how are you doing? I wanted to check in to see how you were, blah, blah, blah. And but in terms of just like
Look at the marketing resources on the Quality RX page. Now that you're in, there's a tab that has the pre-approved stuff. I'm pretty sure that there's going to be an email there that you could just, I mean, it's going to have graphics and everything. You can just take that, plug that into an email and send that out.
Okay. Okay. And then if you missed the first part of that Quality RX, because I know I missed it, I couldn't log in also and I was driving. I'm going to go back and watch it because yesterday, you guys, Chris was telling me some amazing stories that really you can share with your client too. Remember what you were saying, Chris?
Yeah. I mean, the one story that Wade, the former pharmacist, told was the client that I guess he was part of the beta test. The client that he called and asked her how much she was spending on a medication. She said, $5. And he said, oh, $5. She's like, no, 500, over $500. And he's like, oh, wow. So he put it in, dropped it down to $75. I would be using that story with everybody I talk to, anybody that was skeptical or anything. And again, you guys use it for yourself. I mean, I picked up a prescription for my daughter last night. She's having some allergy issues right now. And it's not a big deal, but I mean, it was $62 was the full price. Dropped it down to 27. And next time, if we have to refill that one, I'm going to go shop it around through the app. I'm pretty sure because I'll have to go back in and make sure, because it does price by the ingredient. That's why you want to be very specific. So if you have a medication, but it has like there's one of them, one of the heart medications, the compound changes. So it's the name, but then behind it, it'll have like HCl or something like that, or it could be HTA, or it can be H something else. So you want to make sure that you get that full name in there because it will affect the pricing from one drug to the other. Make sure you're very specific. Don't just type the main name brand in there. If there's additional stuff, go ahead and type it in, because I have noticed on the pricing tool, it will ask for that. And the reason is because it's priced by ingredient. That was the other thing that Wade was talking about. And again, kind of fascinating to learn the back end, because he was talking about barcodes, the barcodes on the medication. And a lot of the other prescription drug discount programs go off the barcode. Well, ours goes off the prescription compound itself, or the ingredients, and that's important because the discount that the other companies give doesn't always apply, because if you buy a pack, a certain, the discount is for a prescription of 30 and the pharmacy fills it in a prescription of 90, they're not going to get their discount. That's with the other RX program. With ours, because it just goes off the ingredient, it doesn't matter if it's 30 or 90, they're going to get the discount. So this is really put together very smart. I mean, I am just kind of blown away. And again, it's one of the things that I get amazed over and over again. When Symmetry does something, they think through all the moving pieces, and they don't just throw something out there. Hey, this sounds good. We're going to, put lipstick on it, make it sound really pretty. They think about the back end, who all's involved from our standpoint, from the client standpoint, from the pharmacy standpoint. I mean, all those pieces were taken into consideration when they put this together, and it's mind boggling, really.
And to answer your question, Sydney, I see that you asked, are there any licensing requirements? As far as I know, Chris, isn't it correct that you don't have to be licensed in another state? So if you were helping somebody in a state that you're not licensed in, only with the Quality RX, you don't have to be licensed in that state, correct?
Just for the RX. Yeah. Any insurance conversations, yes, but the RX program is, in fact, you don't even have to be licensed. So if we have somebody that's brand new, as soon as they get contracted and we're waiting on their carrier contracts to approve, I would say, hey, go in and get your Quality RX set up. And and guys, hey, I had this idea. This is part of their training. This is part of their startup training. I want you to go print out and they don't even have to go to a print shop. You can go get those little business card sheets that you can run through your home printer, have them sign up for RX program, print out their own cards. I want you to go out to a retirement community and just go door to door and hand these out. Part of their training as a brand new agent. This is part of your onboarding process.
You know, I'm so excited. I know we're at the top of the hour. I just want to say real quick, because I also have my best friend. She has a resale shop, and a ton of older ladies come in there. And putting that opens the door. Well, what do you do? And just having that conversation. So this is super exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's in that opportunity to make that. That's why I think it's a great idea to if we can get that approved, I'm sure we can, have your name on that card. Because, think about it. You get somebody that has a $100 prescription and their cost drops down to $25. They're going to be pumped. They're going to be flipping that card over. Hey, I got signed up for your program. I can't believe it, but I just saved $75 on my prescription, and I've got, however many prescriptions. I mean, I could see this organically generating calls coming to you, telling you about, what your program did for them. But at the very least, it gets them into the pipeline, because, Quilty is going to be marketing on the back end. So this is going to tie in to our and Stella and I were laughing about this the other day. I can't remember all of our abbreviations. QCS, I think, Quality Client Services. I think that's one. I'm not positive, but it's whatever the back end sales organization that we have. Think about it, if you have somebody that picks up your card off of a counter somewhere, signs up for the program. You've never had a conversation. You don't even know who they are. You don't even know that they're in your program. But QCS calls them. Hey, just welcome you to Quilty. Anything we can do for you? Oh, you're looking for mortgage protection? We can take care of that for you. Sign them up. All of a sudden, you get a commission split off somebody you never talked to, you never met. That will happen if you get very proactive with this and put these cards out.
How's that traced, Chris? Is there a number?
Well, so
on the cards?
when you sign up for the Quality RX program, you will
Right.
be assigned a number. That number, your agent number, what we would call our agent code with most of the carriers, is what they call the group code. So everybody that signs up with that number is now part of your group. So think of it almost like, like when you buy health insurance, you get a group code, like especially if you're part of a group plan. Now, again, this is very clear. This is not insurance, but it's that same mentality. With that group number, the company recognizes that you're part of this particular group that signed up under this, this structure.
Okay.
So you will have your own group number.
Okay.
Basically. So everybody that signs up using that number, and every time they use that number, you get the commission on the back end. Because every time they use it, every time they scan it at a pharmacy, this is why Symmetry is saying don't focus on this, because you're not going to get rich on it year one, but by year 2, year 3, it starts to add up, especially if you're very intentional about putting this out to everybody that you talk to. And you think about it from a team standpoint. That's why, I mean, like I said, I'm going to do this. Everybody I bring on, as soon as we get them contracted, have them go in, approve their quality, get their number, because we know with the carriers, it still takes, 3 to 5 days, even with our fastest turnaround carriers, for them to get contracted. That's 3 to 5 days that we're going to say, you're going to be going out, you're going to do your Quilty University in the morning, and then in the afternoon, you're going to go door knocking. Sydney, I don't know the nuances between Good RX and this. I suggest going back and watching that video. Wade touched on a little bit of that, not in depth. I think, to me, the way you handle that is just, hey, how much are you paying through Good RX for XYZ medication? Here, let me pull up the price tool. Let me see what I can do for you. That would be how I would handle it.
Yeah, I
So-
think that's great. That's what I would do. And, because oftentimes, I'll tell people, hey, maybe you already have a better deal with what you have, but we won't know until we look.
Yeah. And here's the thing. I mean, like I said, that pricing tool is crazy easy. I mean, we just put the name of the prescription in and bang, it tells us. So. All right. Well, guys, I know we've gone a little bit over, but I think this is very, very valuable conversation today, and I appreciate all of your input. I'm excited. If you continue to have issues getting in, everybody worked today to get your Quality RX approved. To Stella's point earlier, make sure that you're going through the link on the left side. So you should be having that pop up in your menu. And for me, I think it popped up after Scott approved his. So after he went through, because initially it wasn't coming up and then it did come up. So, now that Stella just went through and did hers, those of you on downline from Stella probably going to start seeing that pop up in your menu eventually sometime today. So, and then as soon as you do yours, you're downline. So, again, it's just going to kind of flow downhill a little bit slow, but just keep checking back in. And I would say by the end of the day, everybody should have their code. All right, guys. Well, let's wrap it up. Hey, last thing, I mentioned it earlier, but just kind of a quick reminder, next couple of weeks, guys, be very intentional about your schedule. December is a great month. I think, we're going to have a monster month, but we still have to be watching the calendar and make sure that we're, especially next week, not this coming week, but the week following, really front load your schedule. Make sure you're getting extra appointments in the weekend before and the early part of the week of Christmas. I think that's going to be a great week because Christmas is on a weekend. You're going to have some people who are taking off the entire week. They're going to be available, easy to get a hold of, easy to talk to, easy to schedule with. I think timing is going to work out for this year, but again, just be intentional about that process. So, all right, guys, let's wrap it up. Let's go to it. Appreciate
Awesome.
you all
Thank
jumping
you,
on.
guys.
Have a great Friday afternoon and a great weekend. See you all.